The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, comprising 2 beautifully decorated modern guest suites with seating capacity for up to 1,100 guests. An ideal choice for engagements, weddings, Mendi parties, exhibitions and seminars. Supported by the latest sound and video technology, air-conditioned and free Wi-Fi. Contact us today and see how we can make your vision a reality. The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, located on Featherstall Road South, Oldham. A perfect choice for your perfect day.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to UK24 TV and Ramzan Kareem, where we continue to give you the information of what's happening around you. And of course, for the last few weeks or so, it seems a long time, we've been speaking about politics and also getting you to know those people who are making a difference in our communities. And of course, the charities, the different organisations that are out there who are doing absolutely splendid work in making sure that we stay connected with our spirit. And of course, in this beautiful Ramzan Sharif, where we are in that giving month, where we think not just about learning from each other, but also giving and doing whatever we can to support those people who are less fortunate than ourselves. What's better way to do that than actually to introduce you to a very dear brother of mine who I met it seems a very long time ago, it wasn't all that long ago, Tasif Khan. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I always start off by saying this, and I'm very proud of you. You are the Super Flyweight World Champion, boxing champion. And for those people that have seen Tasif Khan over the last couple of years in terms of the work that you do, you don't just do boxing. So with your permission, I'd like to start with that first. Obviously, very proud of you as a boxer. But your work takes you beyond that, doesn't it, in terms of you as somebody who's there as a role model for many young people, in particular young males, because boxing is seen primarily for males. Of course, there are girls who do boxing, and we do encourage our daughters to do that as well. So tell me, Tasif, most recently, you've got involved with some orphan children in Azad Kashmir, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, basically, first of all, Ramzan Mubarak to everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I think boxing's been part of my journey all my life. I mean, yourself and everybody knows that's been my full-time job for a long time now, and professionally. So, but away from boxing, as you said, there's a life away from boxing, and the background I come from, the family I come from, are very, very religious as well. So I've always grown up with that kind of upbringing, showing respect and trying to help others. And the situation I've got myself into, where I'm a world champion, I like to put back in the community or people, where I like to be in a position where I can help somebody else with boxing or with something else, or being a role model to them makes me proud before them. Secondly, going to the helping the charity, like I said, my parents have always come from like a religious background, so they've always said, particularly to me, if you can help someone, brilliant, do it, and du'as will help you in the long run. And particularly, they used to always stand out about orphans, helping an orphan, and orphans dua can go a long, long way. So
Court is the charity that you've now done some fantastic work with. It's based in Azad Kashmir, but they do stretch out. It's a Kashmir Orphan Relief Trust. And it's not just, like you said, it's not just looking at the children or people in and around Kashmir.
but throughout
Wider.
South of Asia, not even Pakistan. So initially I went to an event for court as a guest. I seen the brilliant work they're doing, and I got drawn into it. Just the work that they're doing, the volunteers that are on board, and the 100% the donation policy that they have is absolutely amazing. But secondly, I had to go and visit court myself to see that they're doing an amazing job, because I wanted to feel that everything they're promising true to their word.
So you actually been to the orphanage in Islam?
Yes, I had to make sure for myself, for my own peace of mind. It's nothing to do with anybody else, it's just the way I am. I like to have my own peace of mind that the orphanage, the charity I'm following and giving 100% to is doing the work that they're promising. So I went in not last year, the year before, I went on the anniversary of where the earthquake happened in October, and it was an amazing event. And I got to visit the orphans, got to spend time with the orphans, got to play with the orphans, got to learn their stories, where they come from, and the amazing work that they're doing. And I can openly say that every child's face had a smile on it, and that proved to me that I'm doing the right job in supporting them. So I made a promise on that day that I will stay with court and give them the 100% of my time, and anything that they need from me, I'll give them, because I've seen the education was second to none, the health second to none, and the support that they're giving them, food, clothing, and everything. They're not giving, the orphans didn't see Kashmir Orphan Relief Trust as an orphanage. It wasn't an orphanage, it was a home. They were living a better life than some of our children here, so that's what really made it up for me, and really made me.
I mean, like you, I went to one of their events. I think I went to the one in Blackburn, and I know that you've gone to the one in Bradford, and I think Leeds as well, the place that you've been to. One of the things that came across through this particular charity was the fact that it's not hand-me-downs, it's a case of it's new. They want those children to be treated like your own children. Just if your own children, you'd want the best for them,
100%.
And that's how they're treated. And some of them are just babies, aren't they? Left on the street, left at the doorstep.
It's really bad, because I actually experienced that when I was there. There was a call, and there was a baby, I think it was 1 or 2 hours born, and they had to take the baby in, and Uncle Chaudhry went, had to leave us and go to the other side of Pakistan to go and get that baby and make sure that they come to court, and they brought it there. So we've seen to the lengths that court go to make sure that these kids get a better life, and it's not just a better, like I said, food, clothing, medication, and make sure that they're healthy. It doesn't just stop there. They make sure that these kids get the best education and go on to be independent and make the future of their own life. Like now, just recently, we've got kids who are studying for pharmacy, pharmaceutical, trying to be doctors, pilots, engineers. I mean, all walks of life. So the journey continues for them to set their own life up. So it doesn't just stop there.
So you, as a super flyweight world champion, Tasif, what do you do to support this kind of initiative, other than obviously give your time, finances? What can you do to support it, and what is it that you do?
Well, I'm an ambassador for court, so anywhere I can, just basically for me, it's not about forcing people to know about court. It's just giving them, like you say, a dawat, giving them an invitation to go see court for themselves. People want to know about charities, people want to know about good work, what good work can they get involved in, because that's what's going to count for in their life for us. So people do want to know, but all it is, my job is to just give people some information about it.
Like you're doing today?
Like I'm doing today. Go and visit. Court is one of those places where you don't have to make an appointment. Court's open to everybody, included. There is no kind of calibre. There's no status involved. There's no one at the top level, no one middle, no one at the bottom. Everyone's equal. So you go turn up at court, the doors are open for you, see for yourself. Whatever you want to do, if that just means playing with the kids, if that just means donating a little toy to a child, or just telling your next door neighbour about the court and orphanage, that's so be it. If you're not, if you haven't got the finances to be able to do anything further, then that's fine. Your word of mouth is more than enough. All we say is being aware of court, being aware of the good work, and inshallah your du'as will go along with.
Inshallah. Linked to that, you do some work with cakes, don't you? I know that I've been looking at some of the things, and I'm thinking boxer cakes, things like that. What's all that about?
Again, cakes is it's called Cake for Orphans campaign, And the Cakes for Orphans campaign has been going for a few years now. Again, all the profits, the proceeds of the court, 100% profits, go towards court. So what they do is open down the country. We've got people who are selling these chocolate fudge cakes, really beautiful cakes, the same ones you'll probably find in all the dessert lounges. So the chocolate fudge cakes are sold for £10, 14 slices, and the whole cake is sold for £10, and all the profits go towards court.
And who makes these cakes, and how is this team
from
got
the
involved?
wholesalers. We buy them from the wholesalers.
Okay.
The same places what deliver to a lot of these dessert lounges. But they've, thankfully to them, they've done a deal with the not just court but many charities. They've done a deal with them where they give it just for cost price to give it to the charities to sell, and then the charities sell it on for £10, and whatever little bit profit they make on top of the cost price all goes towards the charity.
So where did that idea come from in terms of cakes? Have you got sweet tooth or something? Is that what it is?
It wasn't my idea. I'm not going to take the credit for it, mashallah. We've got a great team. We've got a great team of volunteers, which we call Musketeers. As you'll probably hear the slogan going around, it's Musketeers. I'm an ambassador, I'm a world champion. There's somebody else who's, the other Musketeers who are CEOs of their own businesses. Again, which is why I love so much about this charity, is where everyone comes together and there is no kind of calibre about who's bigger than anybody else. We all go out on the street, we all deliver, we all share the same love, and this is what it is. So it was their idea, it was a team effort. They came up with the ideas of the Cakes for Orphans campaign, and it's been amazing, mashallah, and now we're looking to break records already, and we're halfway through. So inshallah, with everyone's du'as, and all I'd say is a message before we move on is anybody up and down the country who wants orders of cakes, especially in Oldham, we've got a team who are going out there, and later I can share the contact details. All they have to do is make a call and you get free delivery straight to your door.
Absolutely excellent, and I'm sure especially during this blessed month where in the evening we're often looking straight after our iftar, and even Sehri time is something to keep us going. So fantastic.
And I'll just say zakat is applicable because it's towards the orphans as well. So people who want to share the zakat can also get in touch with www.court.org.uk, and or you can get the court details online and you can share the zakat money with them.
Jazakallah, we will share that information. Moving on to yourself as a world champion. Now, tell us, Tasif, I know that over the years, when I last met you a couple of years ago in a different channel, you spoke about your journey and how it was about being focused, and as a child being focused, and going to the mosque and being at home and then spending that time on training. For those people who don't know that journey and want to learn more about being involved in sports, especially those young people out there who need to engage in something active, a very difficult time, and we'll talk about some recent events. I know there's been lots of kerfuffles locally. Engaging young people in sports is very important to you, isn't it?
Very important. I think the reason why I am where I am today is firstly the du'as of my parents, the blessings of my parents, and secondly because I've been engaged in sport. Now again, people can be engaged in whatever. You might not choose sport, you might choose an academic, something different, but as long as they're engaged in something, it keeps you away from all the negativity, keeps you away from all the bad things on the streets, keeps you away from crime, drugs, and basically boredom sets in. If you've got nothing to put your time into, boredom can set in.
Yes.
So if you've got some deen, you can put your time into that. But sports, in Islam, they always say health is very, very important, and it should be one of your priorities. So health can be wealth. So for me, I started at a young age, at the age of 9, going 10 into sports. I used to play all sports. Then obviously as the years gone on, I've predominantly taken concentration towards boxing and taken that into professional. So sport has been part of my everyday life, and now it's my full-time job. So for me, it's about keeping fit, keeping healthy, keeping engaged. And it's not just going and doing something and thinking every person who takes part in sport is going to become a world champion. No. Sometimes the best people you meet in life could be involved in sport, your best friends involved in the sports teams, the people you learn things from. Sport has taught me discipline. It's taught me the same kind of upbringing I've had from my parents about showing respect to your elders, showing respect in and around the community, helping, being a role model. All these kind of same things have been taught through boxing.
Boxing is often associated with violence, in the sense that you're hitting somebody. It's not the same as cricket or football, is it? Even though I've seen quite, so in terms of biting and all sorts of things happening there. But it has its own connotation, doesn't it, in terms of being that kind of sport. What is it that took you more towards it rather than some of the other sports?
Well, firstly, I've been in boxing 20 odd years. Do I look like a violent person? And I'm a world champion. So I'll start off from there. So really, boxing teaches you discipline more than anything else. And the points that I've just come across there, boxing for me has taught me discipline, a way of life, showing respect, sportsmanship, all these things. But like you said, people have that, some people still have that negativity that boxing is a violence. Boxing is a violent sport. Boxing is a sport. But why I got taken towards it initially, I didn't think at the age of 9, Tasif Khan, I'm going to become a world champion tomorrow. I got drawn into the fitness aspect. Okay. So I used to go to a local youth club called Bradford Police Boys. And at the youth club they used to play, like you said, they were engaged in many sports. Used to play football, weight training, pool, snooker, table tennis. It was a youth club for all the local community. It was a great youth club, and it kept people off the street. But I got drawn into this small little room where I used to pay my admission and look through this small room, and I seen people punching the bag, skipping and doing all these fancy skips and sparring, and I thought, that's what I want to do. So I put my name down, and every day waiting for my phone call to come to say, we've got a place for you. I used to pay my admission and just go and sit and watch boxing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, until my opportunity came. When I got the phone call, since that day I've never turned back, because again, it was the fitness aspect, it was the training aspect, which I got drawn into because I was very, very active and I needed to use that energy.
You talk about fitness, but let's just, for a minute, I want to focus on the discipline side. One of the things that we often speak about when we look at our youth around us is a lack of discipline, getting up and not getting up on time, not going somewhere on time, not understanding structure, rules and procedure and all these kinds of things. Do you think that is something that we need to teach our children more about?
Yeah, without a doubt, it's a way of life. It's life skills which you need. I mean, not just Islamically, but also in the working community, you need that. You need to get up on time, whether it's school, college, university, education, working life, supporting your kids, supporting your family. There's many things, and showing discipline throughout life gets you further. If you have got no discipline in whatever work of life you come from, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle because you can't expect the work to be, at some point in life you have to be independent, and that comes with this. If you don't show discipline, you're going to fall through some way, shape or form. So you have to show discipline. And again, boxing, if we were to box even at the amateur level, when you're boxing, you might hate the person across. Why? Because that person wants to beat you, logically. But after the fight, a lot of times, and you can ask any boxer this, you become best friends most of the time with the people you box. Why? Because of that sportsmanship, because of that discipline, because of that way of life where you have to follow rules and regulations. Even in that ring, as violent as people might perceive you or see you, you have to follow instructions, you have to follow rules. If you don't follow rules, what are the consequences? You lose. So all that hard work and dedication and training you've done for 6 weeks, if you break a rule, one single rule, you could lose a fight.
What's the difference between competition and discipline? There's a very fine line, isn't there? Being competitive and taking it to that level, and then the discipline, like you said, in terms of the rules. I mean, like yourself, I think we were sat there, all of us in our homes, recently watching American and what happened there, and then watching, and you think, well, was it fair? Was it not fair? What are the rules? What's it all about? So what is it that defines the two?
Well, they are separate in their own ways, because you can have discipline, but sometimes within a combat sport, within any sport, sometimes if you've got that motive to win, that sometimes can push your discipline to the limit. And what I mean by that is when you're so hungry to win, which you should be. I mean, for me, in boxing, there's no second place. For many, especially boxing.
Well, you're in it to win it, aren't you, really?
Exactly. And I think that motive or that slogan can go with a lot of sports people or people who play at the highest level. So really, when you've got that motive that you really want to win no matter what, sometimes your discipline can get pushed to the limit. And sometimes, you can lose your rag. You can push your boundaries right to the limit where you might break a rule. But again, you have also the opportunity to bounce back and to really stop yourself. And that gives you that control over time and over the years of regularly doing it and pointing to yourself and saying it to yourself that no, stop there or else you're going to lose.
So that mind over matter.
That mind over matter. And when that word lose comes into your mind, whether it could be anything, it could be losing to your best friend, it could be losing a board game, it could be losing a boxing match, it could be losing a cricket match, it could be losing in terms of letting your teammates down in a team game. When that word lose comes in, you have to control yourself. And especially if it's something you're doing in terms of discipline, breaking a rule or doing something wrong which you shouldn't be, then that comes onto you. You should be held responsible. So when it gives you that fear factor that I don't want to be held responsible for losing. If I lose to a better person without breaking any rules, I can hold my hands.
Because it's not just about you, even though you are a world champion, it's about the people around you and the people that you carry. And your team, you just make reference to team. So those people who are your trainers, the people who are your supporters, and people out there who are your supporters, who are following you.
100%. Like I mentioned team, people look at boxing as an individual. Yes, it's an individual sport. You go in there, no one can help you. Once you're in there, it's you and your opponent. So it comes down to them. But why we all mention team, not just me as a boxer, but many boxers you speak to a team, is because people forget about the 10, 12 weeks of hard work and dedication and the hard work and the sweat and the tears that go into it behind the scenes. And it's all made up from a team. You have your dietitian, your nutritionist, your trainer, your manager, your promoter, your family who are crying, who might get upset if you're getting punched in the face, your family at home praying, like my mum and dad, my family are always praying, your family and friends, your supporters, your fans, who are always, very, very passionate, and they're screaming, the roof off, so that you win. And then going again to your sponsors who financially sometimes support you day and night to make sure your dream comes true. So the team is endless. And then your supporters who are watching, who spend time and effort. The hardest thing in life sometimes is to give time. Whether it's charity work, whether it's supporting a sports athlete, whether it's supporting them and watching their fights. Hardest thing to give sometimes in life is time. So you've got to appreciate that. Every single person in the world who gives you a little bit of time, you've got to appreciate that. And once you appreciate that, people will start appreciating you in life more. And that, again, can give you a second lift.
Absolutely. We are going to go to a commercial break. So we're going to have a bit of a break now. And for those of you that don't know about the sports of boxing, obviously we're going to continue our conversation about boxing, but more we're going to talk about engaging our youth. And in a time, as I've said before, where it's become quite difficult to try and engage people in positive activity, using your energies, using your passion, using your vision in a positive way. And that's what we're going to talk about. And what better way to do that? And being involved in the sport. So see you straight after the break, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Ramzan Kareem, a very special show where we are getting in touch with not just with our spirit but also our physical side of things, in the sense that at a time when during Ramzan Sharif, Tasif, when people often slow down, they're obviously trying to reconnect with their spirit, but they feel quite tired, lethargic. you haven't stopped. You're still training, aren't you? You're training for your next fight.
Yeah, like I said, this is my full-time job, so it's a bit. I find it difficult. Over the years now, I've got used to it. You know, Ramzan and fasting and training. So I have to train and I have to keep ticking over. And I'm not saying you have to go crazy and injure yourself or really push to the limits, but for me, it's my job. And I was just in training full time just before Ramzan. I was supposed to be fighting. We had a date on the 29th, which has got postponed. So we're just waiting for a date anytime soon. So depending on the situation, it might just come straight after Ramzan. So I have to keep fit.
And that might take you abroad as well. I mean, you might be looking at not just within the UK, but further afield.
I mean, yeah, definitely. We're looking at. I mean, my promoter, Prince Stanley Williams, Monarch Promotions, is looking to do shows in various places. I mean, just recently I boxed in December. Last December I boxed in Lagos in Nigeria. So I mean, the next fight could be in Germany, in America, somewhere. Like I said, we're just waiting on the venue dates. And anytime soon I should be having a fight date, and then inshallah looking to come back to the UK for a big show in summer, which is what I've been told. So
I think we're all pretty excited about that. I definitely am. I'll be following you around.
Inshallah, definitely, and that's the aim, is to get out, staying active, staying busy, and
so staying active during Ramzan Sharif, does the training change? Do you alter it? Because obviously you can't have water and food during the day. So what do you do in terms of your regime? And I'm just thinking of young people out there who probably think, well, maybe we should or we shouldn't. What should we do?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, there's a lot of, particularly, say for example, my strength and conditioning and things, there's times I need to hit, there's certain distances I need to hit. So for that, we don't go to the extreme where we were doing probably just before Ramzan or hitting it at peak, but we have to keep ticking over. So we might reduce it a little bit, the intensity. But what I'd say to people out there is still stay active, still stay a little bit, in the gym. If you regularly go to the gym, don't put a stop to it, because sometimes that could be the worst thing. Ramzan and fasting can be like a detox for your body, to cleanse your body and everything. So going to the gym, what you could do is just time it better. Like I do, my morning session, sometimes I feel quite energized. Yet that might be a little bit difficult because I've got the rest of the day without water. But then the evening session, because I train twice a day, it might be a little bit difficult. But people who are training once a day, time your session better. And what I mean by that is just before iftari time, if you go, say for example at 6 o'clock and finish for about 7:30 or 7 o'clock, finish for go for an hour and a half in the gym, have a quick shower. By the time you've finished, you're ready for your iftari. So you're actually timing it and you're refueling your body. So during the time you're in the gym, your mind's off the iftar time, and it should be reasonably off. You're staying active, you're staying busy. When you're finished, then you're feeling thirsty, you can put that fuel back into your body. So you're getting your gym in and you're actually refueling at the right time, and you stay fit and healthy.
I want to move on to, in terms of, I know that you're very active in the community and working with the communities, and obviously you support your local mosques and your family mosque and the work that you do. Engaging young people at a time when we're being challenged with our deen, we are challenged with our culture, with things that are around you. You're a family man, so you understand the importance of families. How do you feel sports can help those young people to engage in the community in a positive way?
Yeah, sport I think it's paramount. It's massive, big, and I'm not just saying that as a guess. I'm not just saying that because I'm just making up the words. I'm a prime example of that. I mean, all my life I've been involved in sport, and sport again has shown me ways of making friends throughout, with some of my best friends, which I can call brothers now. Boxing, when I joined boxing, we used to train together, live together. There was about 100 children all training together from all walks of life, all different faiths, all different religions, and we lived as a family. And even now, till this day, I have associates, I have team players, I have part of my team, people from all different faiths and religions, but we learn to respect one another.
Would you have met those people had you not been in that sport? Do you think, coming from a traditional working class family in Oldham, would you have had those life chances in meeting all those kinds of people?
Probably not so much in sport, no. Then probably the next way after that would have been through work. Now, obviously, but for that you have to stay in education. So the next thing I'd say after sport, education helps you meet people like this and shows you a way of life. But you have to understand, it's not, people have different faiths, different religions, but there's no harm in living together in harmony and peace. And the people who are intelligent and who have got knowledge about other people's faiths and religions can respect that. And that's the thing that I have, that every person around me that I've been involved with, I can sit in a room full of people with different faiths and religions and I don't feel out of place. And I've been given that respect because I respect theirs, and vice versa. So if you learn to respect others, they will respect you. But you have to understand that there's ways of life. There's ways of life for everyone. And the first thing is paramount, which I think every religion says, is respect. Learn to respect and you'll get respect. If you walk around and I find the people who are indulged in this pointing fingers at certain people and certain faiths and certain religions are people with a lack of knowledge. Ignorance, definitely, that's the word I'm looking for. Ignorance and lack of knowledge. And I feel sorry for all the others because they're pointing painting with a dirty brush on one person is accounting for all the others that are part of it.
Only yesterday there were some incidents with youth, police, in terms of an individual that came into the town who was inciting racial hatred. Previously, yesterday there were an incident. For those people that get drawn into these kinds of incidents, and I do know that counsellors and other people came out to try and stop things, and there may be consequences for those people. Maybe their intentions were not to go out, but the reality was there was somebody that was, if I can use the word, winding them up, if I use it in a softer terms, other people will say was inciting racial hatred. What is it that we can say to our youth in dealing with these situations?
Well, say to the youth, firstly, don't get involved. Don't get involved, because if you feel, firstly, you have to be stronger. If you feel somebody's words are going to make you weaker or make you react in certain ways, then firstly you've got to point a finger at yourself. Be stronger. Words are not going to harm us. If your faith is strong for yourself, if your beliefs are strong what you believe in, then words don't determine that. Your own beliefs should determine that. Secondly, there's no place for any racism. There's no place for racism. In my world where I live in my beliefs, for me as a person, I've got no time for any racism. It don't matter what faith they come in. It don't matter what religion they're from. If there's any racists, I don't want to know them. I won't even associate in the same room as a racist, and I don't commend that out. So what I'd say to the youth out there is keep yourself busy, keep yourself on the right path, and keep in and around positive people.
When there is negativity and say our youth are getting wound up, and it's very easily to get wound up, especially when somebody is speaking against a particular religion, in this particular case an individual speaking against Islam, then there are those who are drawing people into this, aren't they, that we need to stand up, we need to do this, we need to do that. How can the discipline that you talk about, how can that make sure that you remain on the path of Deen, but also remain focused and make a positive change in that?
Yeah, because discipline comes in. You can, like I said, there's boundaries in everything. Sometimes you get pushed to the limit in everything. So if you can control that and say that my consequences, whatever I do from this point onwards, can result in not just me suffering, but also, we might get so wound up that we need to do something. But doing something wrong, two wrongs don't make a right. So make it as simple as that. Two wrongs don't make a right. So if they're doing something wrong and then you retaliate and do something wrong, then we're both wrong. Then no one's going to rectify anything. Secondly, as you know, in the area that communities we come in, the families always suffer. Someone who does wrong, the families always suffer. So your consequences are going to result in your family suffering, your parents crying, you suffering. So in the long run, that one negative or one wrong choice you made has resulted in how many people, it's like a domino effect, how many people suffering because you made that wrong effect. And it might not have been your fault. Somebody else might have instigated it, somebody else are forcing it. But please, please, please make the right choice and think first. Go through it in your head. Think of your consequence. Think of what actions you're going to take and think what is going to result, because every consequence has a result. And what I'd say to people, and maybe some people in the outside can stop that as well, because if there is this hatred, if there is all this hatred towards another faith or religion or groups of people, then maybe we need to stop that kind of march, that kind of walk, that kind of thing, and don't have that confrontation. We need to stop the confrontation. If there is confrontation, they're gonna have that talk. And
do you get asked to come? I mean, you speak very passionately about this, and obviously I've met you several times. Do you speak to youth about this in schools, in mosques, in community centres, out there generally? Are you somebody who's an ambassador for that as well?
Definitely. I mean, I like to see myself as the same as everybody else. But like I said, it's from, mashallah, from where I've got to in life to having the honour of being a world champion. I feel it's a shame if I don't go back into the communities and try not to help as much as I can. So I do get asked to go to a lot of youth services, youth projects, to schools, many schools in my local community, not just my local community but surrounding areas. I go and deliver talks, inspirational talks, motivational talks, and just talk about my journey of life, how I got to from where I was to where I got to. Because again, and I'm not shy, and I'm proud in saying I come from Bradford. I come from the areas which might be classed as deprived areas, Girlington. I come from right the inner city area, and particularly the area which was famously known for the riots.
Yes.
So I'm proud in saying that I come from these areas, but I'm also proud in saying that I came out the other side in becoming a world champion.
I mean, you saw all that, didn't you? Back in the days in the 90s when we had all the problems, and like you said, from that particular area, you saw that. So for those young people who are watching out there, the message that we want to get out to them, how much of do people actually listen? I'm trying to think, motivational talking, going into schools. Do you think that we're doing enough, or do you think that we need to do more?
No, we can never do enough. It's like the saying goes for me, you can never learn enough. As a boxer, as an athlete, as a worker, as whatever you're learning and teaching in or coaching in or learning in, you can never stop learning. That's simple as that. So the same thing is that you can never stop doing something. So you can always go and help. Some people relate to some people better than others. And that's a fact in a way. I mean, sometimes I find myself, all the kids who are always got loads of energy and maybe a little bit, sometimes, in the streets and always wanting to have loads of energy and
maybe a bit naughty.
Well, that's the best word. The naughty children seem to relate to me better. Whether it's because of my boxing background, the sports background, maybe so. So you have to see what each kid, I think, relates to, and see if you can draw them in. And the biggest thing I say is try not to take the kids away from being bored. The biggest problem is now you see kids,
boredom.
This day and age is boredom. My day, when I speak to kids, I always explain, and I say to the viewers now, my day as a 9-year-old child when I was growing up, when I started boxing and started sport, was going to school was paramount. Education was very, very important. Then coming back from school at 4 o'clock after clubs, sports clubs and everything, coming back, the next most important thing we had to do, it wasn't a choice, I had to go to the mosque. And people in fact came to my house and my parents taught them Sabak and Quran and everything like that, and Namaz. So we had to learn the religious studies, and then after that was 6 o'clock, my father allowed me to go with my older brother and said, okay, you can have a little bit of time to yourself and now you can do your hobby. So that's when we were allowed to go. So as a 10-year-old kid, 9-year-old child, at this day and age, the kids are getting ready for bed, evening. That was when my day started. So I was active all day. I had no time to rest. I used to run back from mosque, quickly get changed, have a food on the way to the gym, and then go to the gym and come back at 9:30.
So these kids that are sitting on computers and these PlayStations and Xboxes and God knows what else, or even nowadays they're on Snapchat and TikTok and all these things. What do you say to those kids? Because I know what I say to them, but maybe I'm a lot older than you. But what do you say to them? Get off the
sofa and go. Because again, the times where I feel is the bad times where kids, even if they're not sat on the computer, firstly, if they're sat on the computer, obesity levels are going through the roof. Health issues are going through the roof. Why? Because the kids are playing on the phone. They're more into the computer games and everything rather than doing physical activity. We used to get shouted at for not coming in when it was dark outside. They couldn't get us in. Whereas nowadays, you can't get the kids out. And if they are outside, 6 till 9 I find in the evening time is where it's the peak hours where kids are stood on street corners, smoking, taking drugs, getting involved in crime. Why? Because then them hours they don't find any suitable things to get involved into. And if sport's not the key, find something else. And that's when the hours I spend.
How can parents encourage? I mean, you know, obviously those kids are going to play out. They're going to play out, but we're also scared, aren't we? Many parents are scared of their children going out and would rather have them inside on a PlayStation or on a computer game or on the computer or watching TV than going outside. Yeah. How can we balance that with keeping them safe and involved in physical activity?
Yeah, we can firstly, because look at them kind of hours. First, I'm not going to say to anyone to miss mosque. I've done it. I've done it all my life. That's the first paramount thing, where education, school and mosque, like I said earlier. So it's not about, you don't have to take anything away. You might have siblings, the older sons or daughters, who can take the younger ones out, who can take them to the local youth community centres, which nowadays are trying to engage kids and children into all sorts of, not just sports, but other arts and crafts and things which I know. So maybe take the older sibling along with the younger ones, which I went along with, on the weekends. I mean, you can't say the parents haven't got an hour, even if they're working 6 days a week, they have a Sunday. Take them to the local park, take them to the local sports club, enroll them into a local sports club. Many kids out there have a hobby, have a certain hobby. They might have football, they might have cricket. 9 out of 10 children do like playing football or cricket. They're the key ones. They might like swimming. Take them. An hour out of your time, take them. This day and age, you've got a lot of young parents, like the age of us and kids, where we are quite active ourselves. So all I would say is please, if you take a little bit of time out and go with your kids, they'll see it as an incentive where you're all bonding together.
Okay, we're going to take another quick break. So we're going to take another quick break, and if you're still thinking, oh, what is it that I can do? And maybe at this time of the day when you're fasting, you're thinking, I'm not quite sure, but maybe planning, finding out, getting information. And there's lots of information that are available if you go onto any computer website, you'll be able to, but why not pop along to a local community centre or even your sports club or recreation centres and get that information, even mosques nowadays. And of course, our doctor surgeons and other places have that information. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and straight after we'll learn more about some of the belts that we have got right next to us, and I'm very excited about touching them and finding out more about them. See you straight after break. Assalamu alaikum.
The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, comprising 2 beautifully decorated modern guest suites with seating capacity for up to 1,100 guests. An ideal choice for engagements, weddings, Mendi parties, exhibitions and seminars. Supported by the latest sound and video technology, air-conditioned and free Wi-Fi. Contact us today and see how we can make your vision a reality. The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, located on Featherstall Road South, Oldham. A perfect choice for your perfect day.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, and we're going to continue our conversation today with a world champion super flyweight. So first of all, tell me about super flyweight. I was thinking, super flyweight, does that mean that you're really light?
I should hope so.
You look very light.
Yeah. Well, boxing, there's many categories, so I think we'd be taking up the whole time if we went through all of them. But it's there's a few pounds in each category.
So determined by weight?
Determined by weight, so this is it's a weight category.
So I like to ask, what do you weigh?
Well, when I'm
You're making me feel fat today.
when I'm not fighting, when I'm walking around, which is normal training weight, it'd be around about 60 kilo.
Okay.
And when I'm fighting, it'll be about 52 kilo for the weigh-in.
Gosh.
So in fact, 57 kilo I'll be, and then 52 kilo.
Mm-hmm. And is that sort of a natural weight for your height and build?
Natural weight, I'll be about 57 walking around.
Okay. So it's quite normal. It's got to be what's right for you.
Again, exactly what's right for me. There's no in boxing, in a sport for me, it's about you don't intentionally, unless the opportunity came and you had a big opportunity financially or a big belt on the line or something, then you put on a few. There's training methods to put on a few pounds and weight and muscle and determined to go to the next weight group, or you might have to drop a few pounds to come to the next weight group. But again, always feel natural where you're naturally the most healthy,
yes,
and where you feel the best at. And as a team, collectively, you and your team will understand what is your best weight, which is what we do. So
let's have a look at these. I mean, absolutely splendid. I mean,
I think the ones we've got up here
yes,
are probably predominantly my main ones, the 3 world title belts. Well, 3 out of the 4. So we've got the WBU.
Yeah.
That's the WBU German version. This is the one that Ricky Hatton had, formerly in a welterweight division, light welterweight division. That's the WBU. This is the World Boxing Union, Global Boxing Union, and then I've got the World Boxing Confederation world title.
Yes. Let's just. I mean, these are heavy. I mean, they look big, and I used to think that they just put some plastic on it and make them. But why is this belt so big? I mean, you can get 3 of you in these.
Yeah, probably.
Why don't they make them to size?
It's one of those things. Probably it
looks good.
Razzmatazz and it looks good, and then later on, because more so you don't always walk around with the belts on.
Yeah.
So they can make.
I mean, God rest his soul, the late Muhammad Ali. You can imagine him actually wearing this, but with you, it was just. You're probably lighter than this.
No, definitely. I mean, and this is my first belt I won, which was the International Masters. For me, growing up, this was like a world title to me, and I won it away from home down in London. And for me, like I said, my aim in boxing was to become a professional athlete and to win a professional title. When I won this was, I was more than happy. I was content in achieving my dream, and then this opened many doors for me with having a world title opportunity, which again was a dream come true. At the minute when I got the call from the manager to box for the WBU world title, what Ricky Hatton formerly had.
What year was that?
That was in 2014, 2015 I think I won. Yeah, 2014 I won this. 2015 or 16. I think it was, 15 I think it was. I won the WBU world title and the GBU world title, and then 2017 I won this, and then I won this in December 2000 last year, in the end of December in Nigeria. But again, when we got the phone call initially for the world title, which I was growing up as a kid watching Ricky Hatton defend this belt, so for me to watch one of my idols growing up winning this belt and to be able to box for it, I thought it was a joke. So I put the phone down on my manager and says, I'll call you back.
Yeah, speak to you later.
So he messaged me back and says, no, I'm being serious. And then we took it from there. So, and then we got the call, got the fight, and the rest is history. Mashallah, we're here.
And so do you get to keep these?
Yeah, we get to keep these. I mean, every fight they'll have another one made.
Oh, okay.
So for your own. But again, once you're world champion, it's okay having them, but you want to be classed on paper as the world champion. So people say, okay, you get to keep it anyway, but no, the biggest thing you want
to keep your title.
Keep your title, and that's first you think, yeah, I get to keep these in my mantelpiece and everything. Yeah. So
where do you keep them, Tasif? I mean, the big thing. So did your mum let you put them in the front room somewhere?
No.
Does she have to move all her dishes out?
No, mashallah. At the minute, I've got I keep them in a safe. I've got them in a safe, which I keep them. Because of the worth. Yeah, the worth, and just basically for me, I'm just waiting to where to put them, and I want them to keep. Basically, I need to keep them safe for myself, and I'm waiting in the process because I've just recently moved home. Not recently, but I'm just going to wait to have a nice place set for them, which is only going to be for the belts, and mashallah, put everything together.
Do boxers get trophies as well, or is it just belts?
Yeah, trophies you can do, not rare. Very, very rarely, unless it's a tournament or something in a professional setting. But in an amateur setting, you get on all your fights, which is I had loads of amateur fights, and I've got loads of trophies for them. But professionals is financially, it's a job, you get paid for it, which the amateurs don't, and titles. You aim is to win the belt.
In terms of inspiration, and I know that over the years, obviously you've looked at, you just mentioned one particular boxer's name, but who would you say has been the most inspiring throughout?
Well, for me, as an inspiration, as a world, massive inspiration and a role model to probably the many was Muhammad Ali. And I say inspiration, but again, I can only go so far because he wasn't really in my era.
Yes.
Can I say, in terms of boxing in my era. So he was an old legend. But again, I learned his story, I read his stories, I read his biography. And Muhammad Ali, why he's such a great person and why he will be remembered as such a great person wasn't just his accreditation he got in the ring. It's the person he was outside the ring,
yes.
and the way he changed lives and the way he got equality for his people and everything, and the stature he had outside the ring made him a great person, and that's why he will probably be the biggest role model in boxing.
Not just to you,
ever,
but for thousands
ever,
of people.
Yeah. And second to that, probably in our era, is I'd say Floyd Mayweather, in the way he goes about his business. And I call boxing a business is because you have to manage your way right way. It's about financially making yourself set, and it's also having the right boxing brain in making everything fall into place for you. So he did it. He was very, very smart. On top of that, he was an absolute amazing boxer, and he's still probably in our era, I'd say, the greatest fighter. In my era.
So what next for you, Tasif? I know that you are training at the moment, you're just waiting for a call, and then you're going to be looking at that, and in the summer, inshallah, there will be a UK, in terms of, if I can call it a showdown, in terms of actual, is that the right word? I don't know if I'm using the right word. I think I've been watching too much boxing.
No, I think we'll get in touch with the promotion team. But yeah, we're in training. We've been in training for a while because we were supposed to box end of April abroad, and that didn't happen because the dates fell through. So they've changed the dates with the venue, so we're just waiting for a date on the venue abroad. And mashallah, I'm in a great position because I've got a great team behind me, and I've got a great promoter in Monarch Promotions, Prince Anthony Williams, who base his shows in America, Nigeria, UK, Germany, and the list goes on. So we're looking to base our shows. So
who goes with you? If I can, I'm just
we
trying
have
to...
a team, we have a trainer.
Do you have family as well? Do they travel?
Yeah, I have my family and my little child. I like to always have them with me.
Well, your little child, are they watching when Daddy's getting boxed?
No. They don't go.
No.
Because it's not their thing. And
no.
My wife's just like my mum. Bless her. She does everything for me. Mashallah, I'm in a great position, and I'm blessed to have people like my wife and my family and friends around me, and sponsors, and the list goes on. But my mum, just like my wife, they pray for me, they support me 100%, but they don't go to the fight.
No.
In fact, my mum sits on Jinmaz praying for my opponent on the days of my fight, just like she does for me. And I say, I have a laugh with them. He's trying to beat me up, and you're praying for him. But I understand where she's coming from. She
doesn't want him to get to her.
Don't want him to get hurt. Neither do me. But I respect that. And so Monarch Promotions, great team. They're looking to get me on a worldwide stage, out everywhere, and it's keeping me active. So I can't ask for nothing different. And anytime soon, we'll have a date to set out there. And we're looking for a big one in the UK, which we've been promised, hopefully in and around my hometown, Bradford. And hopefully we can have all these new viewers out there who watch us to come into that summertime.
We're looking around about June, July time, aren't we?
Yeah, probably more July, August now.
And are you like to drop any names of some of the people that might be involved in those promotions and in getting involved?
It's Monarch Promotions, again, people who have, he's got, big contacts in America, Zab Judah, DeMarcus Corley, people involved who might even be as guests. So we've got some, again, these promotion teams do many shows in America, so you will have probably some American stars coming to the show. But even more so than that is having the support of the people, of my people in the UK, in the local towns, in these towns where, I'd like people to come out, and I'm that kind of a person where if I see anyone outside on the normal street, I'm the same person.
Yeah.
So I'm open to anyone who wants to come and speak to me as a person, but if I can have everyone's support in the fights where they can get to. Again, I always go back to the point is giving your time is the hardest thing in life, and if someone can give me their time, they have my full appreciation.
I'm sure people will. I mean, you're somebody that does promote lots of different good things. Finally, I want to try and bring in the gender element of it. I know previously we've spoken about it, and it is seen as very much a male-oriented sport, not just in the cultural sense, but generally speaking. Are more girls getting involved in boxing, or would you
Yes.
welcome them and invite them to join boxing?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's not really my position to welcome them in a way, because everyone has their, like you said, there's faith, there's culture, there's religion, there's background, there's community area settings. There's many things that might come across as a hurdle to certain individuals.
Yes.
But this day and age now, coming back from our last time when we had the interview, it's gone massive.
Yes.
Ladies boxing's gone through the roof. It's actually on par now. You've got professionals, boxing on TV, on Sky Sports, on Box Nation. You've got the female athletes boxing at world level.
Yes.
So it's really, really picked up. There's many female boxers now taking it up as an amateur sport, going for the Olympics then into professionals. Some are boxing for world titles. So it's actually, it's not reached the same level and same in terms of, for the audience wise, same level as the males. It's still male dominated, but the females are getting there.
Would you box a female?
Oh no, we can't box a female.
You're not allowed.
Male can't box a female in a competitive fight, and a female can't box a male in a competitive fight. But
if a girl came up to you in the street and said, "I'm a
on
boxer,"
the street,
come on, Tasif.
No. Again, everyone's down to their own opinion, and again, many gyms have female boxers with male boxers, and they train together. I train alongside. That's absolutely fine. Probably fight them because I have my own beliefs and settings, and sometimes, I mean, if you're in the heart, you don't really want to punch. I'm not saying they're not good. They might be better, if not just as good or even better than some.
But it's actually punching a woman.
Punching them and thing is, you have your own. Again, that's down to everyone else to make their own opinion on that. But there are some very, very good female boxers. One stands out, which was Nicola Adams, who was the Olympian star, and then she's gone on to win world honours or going on to win world honours. And so it's a growing sport, and main thing is it keeps you fit, keeps you healthy. So even if you don't want to compete as a boxer, there's always gyms out there now that are doing female boxing classes, boxer-size classes, and things like that, which we do. I've set up now a boxing academy, which I go into communities working, and we've got a Tasif Khan community boxing academy, which
And where's that based?
is based in and around Bradford. We haven't got a base yet, but we get asked to come and deliver a 12-week program, a 10-week program, and we've just finished a 52-week program, delivering in a local church, in a hall, and again with the local community, getting all the kids in there, open to all ages, or open to all genders, and we've been delivering. And now we're looking to open a base hopefully soon, where we're going to do it long term. But again, there's many other academies, I'm sure, fitness classes and things. Get involved. Even if you don't want to compete as a boxer and get in there and take punches,
Just get fit.
Exercise, get fit. Yeah,
Get fit.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. We have come to the end of the programme. I'm just going to ask you finally, you are obviously training and you're fasting. Do you still eat the pakoras?
Yeah, you can't turn away from them.
Be honest, Tasif, how many pakoras do you normally have? And you have them every day.
This is the honest truth. I made my intention at this Ramzan that I'm going to eat healthy and try to stay away from all that. But the problem is, every few days I get asked to come for a dawat here. Somebody else asks me to come for an iftar here and iftar there, and then it's rude to turn around and say you can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this. But I try my best where you limit it. And what I'm saying, Ramzan, if you feel like you're have a little bit, go read your prayer, have a little bit more, and keep sipping water throughout.
Yeah.
And that will be enough. That's the thing. Sometimes we eat with our eyes.
We do. I think we do.
We do.
I always often say to children, our eyes are bigger than our bellies.
True, and that's what we do. So if you eat a little bit and then have a little bit of water and go do something and then come back to it and have a little bit more. But I've been a lot better than normal So I can't tell people when they call you for a dance.
You mean good? You mean better, as in good?
Yeah, much
Absolutely wonderful to see you again. We
Much
wish you all the
better.
best, and we'll be looking out for all the promotions and hopefully getting to some of your fights,
Yeah,
inshallah.
inshallah, thank you. Thanks for all the viewers watching, and thanks for having us.
Most welcome. So we have come to the end of the programme, where today obviously we've been speaking to Tasif and not just about boxing, but generally speaking in how looking after ourselves and mental and health and well-being. Mind over matter. And I think one of the strong messages that come out there, that sports can be used in a way to use your energies in a positive way and make a positive contribution, and whether that be in the world of sports, charity, community, or your professional life. As always, I say at the end of my programme, look after yourself, because in looking after yourself, we look after each other. Inshallah, see you very soon. Assalamu alaikum.